something, a specific approach one can adopt to actually have more women apprentices? I'll just give you a nuance. I mean, just when we were starting with this concept of apprenticeship with us in TeamLease, one of the largest aircon manufacturers in this country actually approached me and said that, I actually want to introduce apprentices, engineering apprentices in my shop floor who will all be 100% women. Because in his mind, he felt that that can actually improve the productivity, workplace dynamics in that shop floor. I don't know how many such employers are there. I mean, he actually executed that plan. So we hired a bunch of women apprentices, diploma engineers for the shop floor. But what's your take on it? How do we encourage more employers to open up their environment and workplaces to more women apprentices? Mr. Khanduja, let's start with you.
This is a mindset issue. So we are good at typecasting. So we have typecasted apprentice means a men's job. Okay, apprentice hoga to the guy has to be male, and that has been going around for quite some time. So that is the image which is there. Like what we talk about mental health issues. People say mental health means mental hospital, and then they create that image ki acha hai, and then you have to struggle and break that image in the minds of people. That is what it is. Look, everyone says that if your women workforce comes and joins hands in the industry, then your GDP can grow up to 16%, not up to 16%. 16 to 50% is the range where you can see the improvement in GDP, which is a huge growth. And government has realized that. Government also says, in fact, I was looking at the engineering colleges. There are certain seats which have been reserved by government for women who can actually go and study engineering. Although all the men were of the view that why this is being done, this is discrimination and whatever. But what has happened is because of that, now we have a lot of qualified women who can actually participate. And till the time you experience that, it is the first hitch. So I remember we were also having similar kind of debate, and then we decided, let's go ahead. Moment you take the first step, all those apprehensions go away. Like work from home. Since last year, if you see that apprehension that work from home, how will it happen and how can it happen? All those apprehensions have gone. It is just taking that first step, which is something which is very, very important. Now you can't complain that there are no women as apprentices. There are, and government is making sure that supply is there. Now, how you want to utilize that? Generally, people, the biggest excuse which people give for not hiring, say, women apprentices is safety. How can safety be? I understand if you're sending somebody on the field job, I can still understand, and that too in remote area, in hazardous, in odd times. But when you run an operation, you run a safe and secure operation. As of now, if you see, there are many Uber drivers who are female. So there are pilots which are female. You pick up any particular industry or any particular job which was earlier said to be a male-driven employee. We have women in police force. Is your job more difficult or more dangerous than that? So it is just a mindset issue. Somebody will have to step up. Once you take the first step, all those fears will go away. Most of these fears are hypothetical. And since you have supply, you can actually do it, and you can do a lot of good to the nation and to the entire world. In India, if you see in terms of female labor force, we rank 121st in the list of 131 countries. We are that bad, and we need to improve as a society. So I believe that's what I would say, and that's where I will stop.
I'll give a practical examples, right? Seen very closely where these are implemented and why it becomes difficult in some places to implement, right? So in one of my earlier assignment where we were building a greenfield facility, manufacturing facility. So we were talking about hiring women there where we were doing heavy welding. We are doing welding for truck of a railway engine, truck frame of a railway engine, where it's a heavy duty welding. So the same perception that this job is meant for men because the welding gun is very, very heavy, men can't lift, etc. So we challenged the operations. We said, if we cannot put women in the most toughest job according to us, where else can we put women? So we gave additional headcount approval over and above the requirement. We said we want to hire women, but if you see that it's a challenge, so we'll put on our budget, we'll put additional women. So the budget, the department strength was 17. We gave additional 10 from our budget, from a HR budget. We put 10 women there. 6 months down the line, the manager comes back and says, Sitaram, can you do something and take out these 17 men and give me all women? Right. So it just took 6 months for these girls out of the college to learn welding and do much, much better welding than the 7 or 10-year-old employees there. So it's just the mindset. One, they learn very fast. The second part is that I have seen wherever we start the conversation with statistics and wherever we start conversation with, let's do the statistics somehow, there the program fails. When I say somehow, is say if an organization says, let's have 10% women, and then we start searching for jobs, light job, desk job, etc., that's not a sustainable model. Because you are mentally already saying that they cannot do or they cannot be handling the toughest of the jobs. The program will only stay for 1 year and then it dies off, right? Whereas if you say, let's list out the most challenging jobs in our environment. Let's put women in the most challenging environment, top 2 toughest jobs. Let's ask the operation leader, if you say operating crane is the toughest, or welding is the toughest, or operating a 5-axle machine is the toughest job we have, let's first put women there. The moment 1 or 2 women show that they do much better job, every other job becomes easier than that. And then there is no discrimination. In the first example, what I told you, in the second year, we launched a program. We said 50-50. In the factory, we had 50% women. And the condition we put was, we will not sign an appointment letter to a boy unless we sign an appointment letter to a girl. So always the appointment letter or the offer letter was 1 boy, 1 girl. If you have 2 boys already shortlisted, you will not issue an offer letter to the second boy unless you find a girl. So it's always the offer letter has to come in a bunch, 1 boy, 1 girl, right? And the latest example, while we were all locked down, shut down last April, in one of our facilities, since beginning till date, we have never engaged women in the night shift. So you can imagine the number of years Tata Motors has been operating. And every time this proposal comes, we always were afraid that our city is not geared up, our infrastructure is not geared up, safety is a challenge, security is a challenge. We took it as a challenge. We said, how far and how long can we give this as an excuse and deprive women of an employment in an industry? And it's our failure if we are unable to give an environment and security, then all of us are not needed to be in such senior positions to say that we give an environment to work. We put a task force. We mapped from point to point where they stay, what is the safety security of the location if they have to get down with the bus at midnight, what is the surrounding, how does it look like at midnight. And actually our teams have visited that place at midnight to see how it looks at midnight. Right? And within 7 days, we started second shift operation. And we have hired 700 women to operate in all 3 shifts. Where we had about 100 odd only to work in a first shift. Today, we have 700 women working in all 3 shifts. It's possible. It's just the first step and the mindset. We can change. And coming to the Western region statistics, this year has been quite good. If you look at just the graduate apprentice, across the country, we have about 1 lakh of them engaged, and about 38% are women. And in Western region, we have about 23,500 graduate apprentice, 30,000 graduate apprentice in Western region alone registered this year. Again, we have about 9,000 of them are women. It's about 35-38% of the women are coming. But when the society outside is 50-50, I think minimum 50 should be. Anything less than 50, we should not say that we are good.